Hello, it's another episode on 3-Minute Convos with Ginika. I'm super excited to have on the show with me today Joke Adu. Joke is the head of corporate affairs, brand and marketing at Standard Chartered Bank, Nigeria. Now, if you have not subscribed to my channel, my 3-Minute Convos channel on YouTube, please do so. It's so easy to do. And before I introduce Joke to you, I'll read her profile. With a first degree in English literature and a master's in media and communications and marketing and public relations certifications obtained from the UK, Ireland, and Nigeria, one thing is clear. Joke is an extraordinary professional. She's leadership personified. I'm super excited to have her on my show. So I'm introducing Joke Adu to you right now. Joke is the head of corporate affairs, brand management and marketing at Standard Chartered Nigeria, and she has 18 years experience across communications, governance, project management and client experience spanning Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Mauritius and the Gambia, and this would show you her full proof of results. She's not just a leader, she's an alumna of the Africa and Middle East Emerging Leaders Program and a participant in the Global Talent Accelerator. Beyond that, she's a certified neuro leadership coach, guiding and mentoring others through the bank's Ignite program, helping employees grow and thrive. She's smart, she's seasoned, effortlessly impactful. Joke Adu is just the definition of experience and excellence. Excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much, Joke, for agreeing to do this. I'm really looking forward to our conversation this evening.
Same here. Thank you for having me.
All right. And I'd like us to start from the beginning, to tell us more about yourself. What was the first job that you did? What influenced your career direction? What was your childhood like? So all of that, we'd like to know.
So thank you for having me on the show today. I'm really excited to be here. So I'll talk a bit about my background. I grew up in Lagos. I grew up, both parents were civil servants, and having that background and upbringing where both your parents were professionals from an early age made me interested in corporate world. I remember my dad would come home, my mom would come home, and then they would talk about work, and I found it interesting.
Yeah.
So I grew up in that environment. I also was fortunate to have parents that recognized early that I was a creative. That's the term they use now. And they encouraged me in every way possible. My dad was an architect, and I remember as a little girl, early in the morning, I would go to his room. It was like clockwork. My paper and pencils would be on his desk while he's doing his sketches. And I would draw and I'll sketch, and that upbringing opened my eyes to the beauty of creativity from an early age, and I believe that really contributed to the path I decided to take as a corporate affairs and brand and marketing professional.
Oh, that's fantastic. So if you think back, what was the first role you took up? So you started from which of the sectors? Is it banking?
Interestingly, I started in the tourism sector.
Oh, that's exciting.
So that's exciting. An interesting story there. I was waiting, that period between when you're done and waiting for NYSC posting. And I was bored. I was just saying to myself, I need to find something to do. So the house fellowship I used to go to, not too far from the house, I mentioned to the pastor in charge at the time that, I'm bored. I just want to find something to do until we get my NYSC posting. So he said, okay, he would ask around. And then I remember at the time, my church was organizing pilgrimage to Israel. And there was an executive in charge of it. This was a working professional, very senior, still very prominent in the Nigerian industry, but needed an assistant, someone to help. So I was this young girl waiting to get on NYSC, and I just said, I think I can do it. And I sat with him. He explained what they were trying to do, and I got on board with it. They gave me room to come up with ideas on how to amplify the pilgrimage. And at the time, this was years ago, obviously, it was one of the successful that had happened up until that time, because I was able to go out, do what I now know is considered campaigns, awareness, publicity, and all, to get more people to go on pilgrimage. And we had more than the numbers we planned for, and it was a great one. And I got to go to Israel too.
Excited. I can just, I'm just trying to imagine how that felt, just taking up a role, new in the industry, and you had such an exciting opportunity, and task to handle. So that was good. So in your journey, were there any role models or mentors that inspired you?
Well, certainly. My maternal grandparents,
Wow.
they were the definition of resilience and hard work. My maternal grandparents were actually in the East when the war broke out.
Okay.
And in spite of that, losing everything, because that was their home base, they lost everything, came back to Lagos, started over again, and had a very, very successful life afterwards. So they were the epitome of strength, resilience, hard work. I would say my parents as well. Like I said, they were both professionals, and being able to navigate those seasons, and me as a child watching them go through seasons of life, the pressures of work, for me, those were epitomes of professionalism that I picked up on early, and I said, I want to be like them and surpass them. So I was fortunate to meet it at home.
It's always inspiring to hear about the impact that our family members, make in our career growth and in our personal lives. I have experiences as well, living with my grandmom at some point, whenever she comes to visit, I picked quite a lot from her as well. And some other ladies on the show, they keep on, referring to the experiences they had growing up. So that's really noteworthy, and that's really commendable and great. So Joke, I would like to know a turning point in your career. At this level, you would go through challenges. It would be normal for you to go through challenges, to go through setbacks. But I'd like to know how you're able to navigate all these complexities.
So I would start by saying that as leaders, it's important to accept and be comfortable with the fact that challenges will happen. It is part of the job we've signed for. It is even a part of life. So having that awareness and consciousness for me is half the journey. In the workplace, as you would imagine, you have different challenges that come up, different tasks or hurdles that we are required to surmount. And having the right attitude, it cannot be overemphasized. It cannot be overemphasized, having the right attitude. I remember a setback I had. So there was a role I wanted to move into some years ago. I had been interestingly supporting the team from time to time, volunteering on projects, working with them closely, and an opportunity came up. And I applied for it, and it seemed like it was a done deal. And then towards the end, I was told it was given to someone else.
Oh, wow.
And of course, I was devastated.
Yes.
But I took a moment to reflect. I understood the person obviously had more years of experience and was better suited for the role at that time. Now, anyone else dealing with disappointment, which is a normal response, a human response, of course you'll be disappointed. You may ask yourself, why me? Why, those thoughts crossed my mind. But one thing I said was, what is my end goal? I want to be in that team. I want to work with that team. I have an interest in that team. So I continued volunteering to work with the team. Any opportunity, any project, any task, I volunteered. I worked closely with them. I developed a friendship, a good relationship that I still have till today with the lady that got my role at the time, or the role I wanted at the time. Guess what? About a year later, there was an opportunity in the team. The team expanded, and they were looking for someone to fill a role. Now I could have had a bad attitude when I didn't get the role. I could have been nasty to the team. I could have developed beef with the person that got the role. But I stayed focused on my own objective, which was that I wanted to join that team. I still wanted to learn about that team, and for me, that is something that's a mindset that I've applied over the years. Everything won't go according to your plan. Everything won't go according to the way you want it to. But what can you do in the interim? Is it an opportunity for you to learn? Is it an opportunity for you to scale up? Is it an opportunity for you to even explore other opportunities that you may not be privy to because you are so focused on one thing? And it's the same mindset with challenges. What is the end goal? We want to resolve this situation. Is it going to be bumpy? Is it going to be uncomfortable? Absolutely. But do we have the right resources? Do we have the right tools? Do we have the right people that can come together to collaborate and solve this thing? Absolutely. So we then focus on that versus the challenge, because the more you look at the challenge, you magnify it beyond what it really is. But if we're results oriented, then everybody's applying their energy, their expertise, their time towards that goal. And as a leader, you must be at the forefront of that. As a leader, you must be the one encouraging people to believe that we can fix it, we can make this thing work. And even if we fail, there's where I work, there's a mindset we try to encourage employees to have, that even in failing, there's something to learn. Nothing is lost. You learn how not to do it. And it's a mindset that I always encourage, not just my team, but people generally to have, that, challenges will come, but with the right attitude, it's surmountable.
No, that's, a fantastic example of what it means to have a growth mindset. Irrespective of what you're going through, you're learning from there, and you're improving, and, it just keeps going. And you find yourself, some years down the line, you see that you've really gathered a lot, and it keeps, improving your profile.
Absolutely.
So it's really powerful what you've shared. And it will take me nicely to discuss. I know you've talked a lot about leadership, but let's talk more about that. You've mentioned some qualities of good leadership or a good leader, and I'd like you to talk more about that.
Okay.
Are there more? I picked, being at the forefront, making sure that you show your team the right example for them to emulate and so on. So can you share more?
Absolutely. The first that comes to mind for me is integrity. You can't just be the leader that tells people to do things without being the first person to do the same. You must lead with integrity. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you say you're going to achieve something, do it. But even in your aspiration towards achieving it, if you see that you're falling short, communicate. Which brings me to the second point. You have to communicate. Communicate. And that's something leaders, it's a skill we will continue to improve on. Sometimes, and why I say that is that sometimes as leaders, you are so focused on the task. You are so focused on the end game that even sometimes as there are changes, it's so easy to forget to carry your team along, right? If your thought process changes, because sometimes you're so focused on the goal, you may forget to carry them along, that I'm changing the direction because of this. So it's important as leaders, communicate. And there's nothing like over communicating. It's better for people to say, it's enough, we get it, we understand,
exactly,
than for people to be left in limbo trying to interpret what your silence means. So the first thing, integrity. The second thing, communication. Third thing, empathy. As leaders, we're working with human beings who have their lives, who have their families, who have their issues, who have other things going on outside of work. You can't be a leader that isn't empathetic. Like in my place of work, we say you must be a human leader. You must be able to connect with your team. When you see a team member lagging on the job, most times by default, it's easier to come with the cane and be like, what's happening? You're failing at this. But as leaders, we're encouraged to take a step back to ask, what changed? Is something happening at home? Is there a personal crisis that is affecting productivity? So it's important that we lead as humans. It's important that we're not just focusing on tasks and timelines and budgets and all, but we remember that the engine that's helping us to achieve those things are human beings, and they need to be seen and engaged with as that. You know, there's this popular quote, I'm sure most of us have seen it, that people don't leave organizations, they leave bad bosses.
I've heard that quote.
People don't leave organizations. Most people, when you engage with them, it's possibly a boss that has frustrated them enough to the point where they're like, yeah, I'm done.
It's time.
Yeah. So I'll say integrity, communication, empathy, and decisiveness. Yes, decisiveness is really key.
To take tough decisions.
Tough decisions. It's one of the things that defines you as a leader. I have a friend that would joke that management or leadership is actually paid to think strategically.
I agree.
You have the expertise already. Nobody will contest your expertise. But you are now in a position of leadership to think strategically. And you don't have the luxury of time all the time. So you need to be able to compare what are the risks, what are the opportunities, what is the potential loss, what do we stand to gain. You need to be able to navigate all of that quickly and do it in such a way that your stakeholders are on board or have a sense of what you're trying to achieve, and you go for it. Now, does it mean that you would get it 100% all the time? Absolutely not. Which is why as a leader as well, you must be nimble enough to recover quickly. Now, all these things again go back to having the right people you're working with.
Of course.
You know, you need to be able to build trust with your team to the point where decisions are taken that don't have the right outcome you want, you are able to mobilize quickly together to say, okay, that didn't work. What can we do? And you must be a leader that listens to your people, because you don't know it all. No man is an island. Also, as a leader, being one that listens to your people, taking feedback. Feedback is a gift. It's always easy as a leader to be the one giving feedback, but it's also important to hear from your team. Are you leading well? Do they feel like you're giving them the sort of guidance they need? So it's important to get feedback as well from them.
All right. So, with all that you've said, you seem to be a very busy professional. Of course, as a head of function, you have to be very busy. And I'm just wondering how you balance work and life. How do you do that?
Interestingly, I had this conversation with someone recently, and we came to the conclusion, and it's becoming a popular conclusion, that it's more of integration.
Yes.
We live in a world where everything is on the go. You're doing your work on the go. Information is on the go. I think what COVID did was it took away that traditional work environment where you worked in the office till 6, 7, you closed your laptop or your desktop, and whatever issues were unresolved, you continued the next day. Now, because a lot technology really opened up the space to possibilities of what work could look like, you find that you're working on the go. So recognizing that that's the reality at the moment, and recognizing that I don't work in a bubble, I work with people. Some people still subscribe to that. I'll do some work now, I'll do the rest later. You find that customers are now also thinking 24/7. They want transactions processed in real time. Your stakeholders want information in real time. You don't have that luxury of compartmentalizing all the time to say, I'll respond to this tomorrow or whenever. So technology is a tool that enables us to be efficient. And that way, the integration is a bit better. So for me, for example, what I try to do is I ensure the heavy things that need to be sorted early, I do them early. I give them my time during the day, during my work hours. And after work, those things that I know I can do on the go, I use that free time to sort them out. I can be sorting that out while I'm in traffic on my way home. I may be relaxing and maybe watching a movie, and I get a request from someone about something. I can pause and respond and go back to it. So it shows you that that's the world we live in now. And there's no point resisting it fully. I would say embrace it, but use the tools that have been provided with technology to make sure you're working smarter and more efficiently.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then for me, I prioritize making out time to do things that fuel me as well. Because in the workplace, you give so much. You devote most of your daytime to work.
To work, yes.
So when I get the opportunity to unwind, I try to do things that fuel me so that I'm not giving from an empty tank.
Like what?
I love my spa days. I love my spa days. It's a great way to distress. So I'll go for my massage. I love a good movie. A good movie that there's good character development, a very intriguing plot. I like it. And then sometimes I just watch something that's light because I don't have the capacity to be processing
exactly
who's doing this. No. So something
that's
like
too much.
Something like for me can be a Marvel movie. I love the comics. I love all the big action scenes. It's a good way to distress for me. And hold some conversations with my family and friends. You would easily catch me on a Sunday morning having breakfast or brunch somewhere with my family or friends because it's a good way to refuel your soul, unwind, and learn something new as well. So
absolutely. So are you reading a book right now?
Or
listening to any
podcasts?
podcast?
Yes. I'm listening to quite a few, but my top two at the moment, The Diary of a CEO.
Oh, yes.
I love that.
I listen to that a lot.
I love that because it's such a great way to learn about leadership from people who are actually in leadership positions. You get to understand what goes into the decision-making process. And sometimes it just gives you comfort that you're not alone. You know, when they share about some of their challenges or mistakes, you see, wow, if this person, this global leader is experiencing this, then I'm not doing so badly. So Diary of a CEO, definitely.
All right, so let's talk about trends that are shaping your industry. And I'd also like to know how you give back to your community. So those are the two things I would like my viewers to learn about you.
Okay. Trends in our industry now, we cannot ignore AI.
Everyone is talking
about AI because AI is here to stay, and we're seeing how powerful and useful AI is and has become a part of our lives. So we're seeing the introduction of AI. We're seeing a lot of reliance on data. In the past, most times organizations or entrepreneurs will create a product and market it. But things have changed now. Now, we are relying on data to be able to create the sort of products that clients want. And we get to know what sort of products or services they want because we've created opportunities for them to tell us what they want. So it's the reverse now. In the past, before, somebody could just think, I think people like to take ice cream on a hot day. But now what data enables us to do is that we get to know that, perhaps they're saying people like more vanilla versus caramel. And so we're able to tweak what we produce based on their own demands, not the other way around. So data and analytics, a huge part of future trends. Also personalization. People want bespoke services and solutions now. People want things that give the semblance that this was tailored to them alone. So you find a lot more people are willing to pay a premium for those sort of personalized experiences where they feel that a lot of thought process has gone into creating something personally for them. So AI, data and analytics, the reliance on that, personalization, cybersecurity, and information security. That is something that is here to stay, and it's no longer that topic that is distant. We see that it's moving closer and closer, not just to organizations but even to individuals. So what's the role we can play in supporting our clients or even those within our immediate circle to stay safe online, to make the right decisions, to not position themselves in such a way that they're attractive to fraudsters. So that's something everyone has to become mindful of. So it's no longer just for organizations alone, but even for individuals, how are we becoming more aware of what our social media presence looks like, for example, and how we're ensuring that we are safe online. So those are trends that are really transforming the landscape, not just in banking, but for even communications and marketing experts. And then even the ethical use of data. You know, yes. You get a lot of data from clients to, or customers, consumers, to create products and services for their needs. But that doesn't give you the right to now use that data outside the context of what it was required for. So there's a lot around governance, ethical data mining, and the likes. And we know that it's really just to make the industry better. There's a lot around regulation as well. Mm-hmm. It's no longer just a distant thing. It's a present thing that all organizations need to get on board with. And we see that most organizations are doing that because when we don't align, when we don't do things the right way, the consequences are humongous. So yeah, those are some examples.
Fantastic. Great. And I just hope my viewers are getting a lot of insights from all that you're saying. I'm also picking up quite a lot. And then the other question I asked, I'm still curious about how you give back.
Oh, sorry. I'm very big on giving back because I believe we all have something to give back.
That is your time, your resources.
Whether it's your time, whether it's your resources, we have something to give back. As professionals, I count it as a blessing to be able to give back. Okay. Believe it or not, if you're in a position where you have a job, you have a profitable business, or you have a business that's thriving, you are a blessed person. There are millions that are unemployed, possibly smarter, possibly more intelligent, better equipped, but are out of employment. Now you are employed gainfully, so you can provide for your family, you can be a responsible member of your family. I count it as a blessing. Now, if I've been blessed with all of that, it just makes sense to give back. To me, I think it's the right thing to do. If you've been blessed, be a blessing to someone else. In my organization, we're very, very big on giving back to the communities that we operate from, because it is from these communities that we've been able to grow a business, and it's from this community that we've been able to meet clients that support our business. So we have various intervention programs that give back to the community. And even for me as a person, from an early age, I've had the privilege of being able to go. I remember my first experience going into an orphanage. I must have been 6.
Wow.
And the reality stuck with me because I saw children that were like me in an orphanage. And I think that really shaped how my mindset is around giving back. So I'm very passionate about education because knowledge is power. With education, you can transform your life, the trajectory of your life. And whether it's not education, whether it's enterprise, there are some people that have natural skills for business. If they have the right support system, they have the right business mentors. I'm very big on creating those sort of opportunities where people can mentor aspiring entrepreneurs to be able to grow their businesses and as a result support their own families and their communities. Particularly young people. Mm-hmm. Nigeria is full of young, intelligent people. And contrary to the popular narrative all the time that, they don't want to work, they don't want to learn, I've come in contact with some young people that their energy is so refreshing, their curiosity about business, about life is so inspiring that you want to be a better person. Now, if there are opportunities to help those kind of young people, then we should support them, whether it's with information, whether it's education, scholarship, mentorship, those sort of things I'm passionate about. And then last but not least, healthcare.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get to hear these stories about how people lose loved ones because they couldn't afford to pay for something.
Medical bills.
Yes. Or they couldn't access medical care in time. Now, are there opportunities to collaborate or create a platform where you can provide free medical care, even just the basic medical care? Can I volunteer as a person? And I use all these examples to say these are things I've had the privilege of being part of, and it's something that professionals should devote their time to as well. Whether you're volunteering to at a soup kitchen, or you're volunteering to teach children the basics of financial education, or you're volunteering to just prep ill people for medical care, it's so important to give back. I think it's a gift that keeps on giving, because in doing so, it makes you thankful for what you have. It also gives hope to the people that someone sees them and that they matter as well. And I think it helps make the world
a better
just
place.
A bit better. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Wow, it's been a wonderful conversation, Joke. And I'll just ask you one last question. You know, my viewers are mostly young professionals. I would like you to leave some advice for them. Just maybe one or two. What would you like to share with them?
When we say young professionals, the word we should underline is professional. And I think it's very important to bring that into everything we do within the workplace and outside. Professionalism. How do you write your emails? And I'm using very simple things. What do your emails look like? How do you present yourself? How do you dress to work? How do you speak with your colleagues? How do you speak with leaders in the organization? Professionalism is key, because organizations would devote time to young people who they see prioritize doing things the right way and aspiring to keep doing better. So I'll say professionalism. Then I'll say show up. When you come to work, when you are in any situation, show up, but show up as your best authentic self. Be 100% involved. Sometimes people say, oh, there are no opportunities. It isn't that there are no opportunities. People are looking for people that are fully committed to something. And the only way you can show that you're fully committed is when you show up and commit to say, look, I'm part of this. I'm giving my 110%. I want to make a difference here. Appreciate the role of mentors. Experience is the best teacher, but I always say the experience of others are best for me. Why encounter pain if somebody else has gone through that and I can learn from their own experience? Don't ignore the role of mentors. There are people who want to give back, who want to help you. Identify those sort of people that you emulate, who have the kind of values that you ascribe to, and reach out to them, connect with them. Some mentors, it may be, you may have the luxury of being mentored up close, but some, it may be through the books they've written or content they've put online, whether it's on YouTube, whatever social media platform. Find a mentor that speaks the language you understand, that is embodying the sort of career you are aspiring to, and walk that path with them. And then the last thing I would say as a young person is have hope and believe in yourself. We live in a world that constantly pushes a lot of negativity, and it seems that as a young person, as a young professional, it's like you are swimming against the tide. You know, it just seems like you can't get a break. Don't give up. There are those who have gone ahead of you, who succeeded. There are people like Ginika, myself, and some other people you see on this show who are doing well. And I believe that's the same that can happen for you. Believe in yourself. Don't give up. Keep connecting to the right platforms. And I look forward to be listening to you, encouraging us in a few years to come. Thank you.
Wow, that was amazing. That was really amazing.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, Joke. Thank you for being here. Thank you for accepting to do this. Thank you for sharing from your wealth of knowledge and experience. You know, I am 100% certain that my viewers have gleaned a lot of insights. They've learned a lot from all that you have shared.
Thank you so much for having me.
So it's been another fantastic episode of 3-Minute Convos with Ginika. I hope you gained a lot from my conversation with Joke. So before I go, I'd like to ask you just one question. Have you subscribed to my YouTube channel, 3-Minute Convos? If you haven't, please do so. You'll surely gain a lot of insights from my conversations, from my educational content, and from the interviews I'll be uploading on my channel on all things leadership and all things communication. So thank you. Until next time.